behind an office desk inside. It makes me lose.
Hey everyone, it's Christine. I have Lyndsay Johnson here with me. Hi. She's blogger, beauty artist, graphic design artist, writer, very creative person. And I want to be her when I grow up. So, no, just kidding. Anyway, I have some questions. Hopefully, she can share some ideas and thoughts from her experiences with us today. What is your #1 tip for making time for things like your graphic design, book writing, etc.?
Well, I think my #1 tip is to just go with the flow that day, see how you feel. I'm very creative. I don't work really well with the schedule. I know a lot of writers say, oh, you have to schedule time to write. I can't wake up and say, today I'm going to write, because then it's usually the day that it never happens.
Yeah.
So I have to wake up and kind of say, how do I feel today? Do I feel like working on something related to writing? Do I feel like being creative? Do I feel like I need to get the laundry done? Whatever it is, I sort of evaluate how I'm feeling that day creatively, and then I work based off of that. So that's the way that I work. I know it doesn't work for everybody. I don't know if that's really a tip, but I would say see how you feel, especially if you're a creative individual and it's hard for you to maybe set really specific goals and try to map out your creative time. I think that can be kind of difficult.
Yeah.
So I would say see how you're feeling, go with it. If that's not working, try something else.
All right. Do you struggle with putting your lists aside in order to make your goals happen?
So I have 2 kinds of lists. I have my day-to-day list, and I like to handwrite them out, and sometimes I have doodles on them. And I like to put little boxes, and I can check things off, so I feel like I've accomplished something, which I think is hard for creative minds. Yeah, I draw the box, and then I'll always put something on there.
Yeah, I did see that.
So this is my little one. We're passing babies around.
Super cute.
To try to get this done. Balancing motherhood and creativity, right? So one thing I like to do with my list is put something on there that I've already, or I'm almost about to complete, so that I can cross it off almost immediately, and then I'm like, I did it.
And you feel good.
So I have my day-to-day list, but then I also have like a list of goals that are more creative, and they can be more long-term, but I like to keep them separate, because if I'm accomplishing things on my daily list, but not on my long-term list, and they're on the same page, then I feel like I'm not getting things accomplished. And that's never fun. You want to feel like you're getting things done. So it's more about prioritizing, taking a look at what's going on that day, looking at my list and saying, okay, I can work on that project, or no, I really need to set that aside and work on my short-term list, get the laundry done, get the kids to school on time.
Do you think doing your book design unique, things you enjoy, helps you to be a better mother?
Totally. I mean, I think it also makes me kind of crazy, but my family knows that there's this crazy creative side to me. Like, I have to do things that are creative. If I'm not, and there have been times in my life where I've scaled back, I start to go into this zone where I'm in a funk, and I'm just going through the motions every day, and I really miss being creative. I've been creative since I was really, really little, and I've always had a project going on. I'm always trying something new. When I'm not doing that, I'm not the same version of myself. And even my husband will say, you need to be working on something new. Like, you need a project. So even though I feel like I'm doing lots of different things all the time, and it probably makes me a little crazy sometimes, that's just kind of who I am. And I think that's better for my kids to see me being creative and happy than feeling like I have to take that aspect out of my life in order to accomplish the day-to-day and then just not be happy.
Yeah. Do you ever have mom guilt?
I have mom guilt all the time. No, I got rid of mom guilt about a year ago.
Awesome. I love it. Tell us.
I decided to just get rid of mom guilt. No, I have some mom guilt still, but honestly, I just decided I need to stop feeling bad about what I think my kids maybe are missing out on because I've decided to do something creative. That's not the case. I had a creative mother, she had a creative mother, we all benefited from it, and I think everybody, no matter what you do, no matter what kind of mom you are, you're going to guilt yourself into thinking that you're doing something wrong.
Yeah,
so
very true. There's always something to criticize yourself
and
about.
when I'm not being creative and I'm not pursuing all these goals, then I'm feeling guilty because I'm feeling mopey and sad, and my kids aren't getting this really great version of myself. But then if I'm working really hard, it's like, oh, well, or maybe they need more attention. So I decided to stop worrying so much about it and just do the best I can with my kids. I'm home all day with my kids for the most part. They get a lot of me, and they're doing great. They're doing fine in school, they're doing great socially, they're happy. We have a crazy home, and it's not always perfect, and mom's busy, and I have a creative husband who's a filmmaker and a photographer, and so there's a lot of artistic creativeness going on around us all the time. And that's fine. Like, that's just the vibe of our home, I guess. And the kids do really well, and it's okay. And we have good days and bad days, and I've just decided that I needed to stop giving myself a hard time if I need to do something for myself. Because the alternative, I think, is way worse. If we're not doing something to fulfill ourselves as a mother, as a woman, our kids are going to notice, and they're going to suffer too.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool. So.
All right. What fears do you have that hold you back from pursuing your dream?
I think the biggest fear is I'm going to miss out on something in my kids' lives. So I've actually put things on hold. I wouldn't say given up on goals or permanently set them aside. But I put them on hold for a while because I know that it's going to take me away from my family too much. And so that's not something that I want to sacrifice, something I'm not willing to sacrifice. So I wouldn't say it's so much a fear as just a reality, knowing if I go down this particular creative path, I know that this is going to result in me getting out of the home more, missing life events, for example, with writing and the book. So I started working on the book when I was really sick, and I was in bed for an entire summer, and I got the bulk of the book written when I was in bed. And I really needed that. That was a time in my life when I really needed something else to help me cope. And so I would disappear into this fantasy world when I was writing. I could not write a book right now with 3 kids. There's no way it's going to happen because I fit design. I can fit design work into my day, but I can't fit writing in all the time. That was getting hard. I was missing out on kids to disappear and write. The other thing is, if let's say I pursued it really heavily and found a great agent and the book did really well. There was a lot of promotion, author appearances, traveling. I've read a lot of articles by other moms who are authors. They were having to go to a lot of author events, do a lot of promotion, and I started to realize my kids aren't old enough for that. I don't know that I have that in me right now. So I made the choice to just wait, a little while.
Well, you basically answered my other question about holding. My other question was, have there been times when you had to cut back on those things you love to do? So.
Yeah, I think that I realized it when my baby, who you can see right there in the background, was 4 days old and on my chest, sleeping while I was trying to get edits done, and my publisher was emailing me, and I just thought, this dream of being this world-renowned author is not going to work out right now. I mean, I had, every author is like, I'm going to be on Oprah someday, and she's going to love my book. And it doesn't matter what you wrote about, even if you wrote about mermaids in Iceland, Oprah's going to want you on her show to talk about it. But that doesn't translate to the real world with 3 kids, and I just thought I need to maybe look more at my graphic design again and get more into illustration and design, because I can fit that into my day when the kids are napping, when the kids are playing nicely after school and homework is done, after the kids are in bed. I can fit design work in, whereas with writing, like, you have to disappear and write for a day and not be bothered, or make edits and focus, or be gone to present.
I like that. That's some really good advice for anyone else who's creative or has lots of different projects that they want to do. I think there's different kind of people out there with different, creative vibes, and I'm one of those people who I'm never gonna be satisfied with one thing.
I'm never. And even when I was writing, I was like, this is great for right now. And I have author friends who are like, my entire aspiration in life is to be an author, and that's wonderful. And there was part of me that was like, oh, I wonder what that would be like to have one thing. But my brain is like, no, you have to do that, and you have to illustrate, and you need to design your own book, and you need to paint. So I have to rein it in. And so there's this fine line between saying, okay, this is creatively crazy, and this is creatively fulfilling. I like to be in creative control, I've noticed. So I think that's why I like to do a lot of different projects, so that I can pick and choose and say, okay, I want to work on this right now, and then as soon as it's not working, I can pull back and say, okay,
take a break and work on something else.
This isn't working and I need something else.
Yeah,
I think that's really important as a mom, to be able to kind of be in control of your creativity and know how to focus it and know what's benefiting you and your family. And I think there's also a time for work that is financially feasible, and there's a time to work on things that are just for you, and maybe have a couple of those going, you know, something where you're not making any money and you're just doing it for personal fulfillment, or just doing it with your kids, or just doing it to benefit or help somebody else. But then it's totally fine to sell out a little bit and say, I'm going to do this work for a client and financially help my family. A lot of variety going on in my life, I guess.
Keeps things interesting. Hopefully this gives you some inspiration for your own lives. Until next time, love life, love yourself. Bye.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Lena, oh my gosh, are we going to accomplish anything? Oh, the joys of motherhood.